Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone in the Libertarian Party on behalf of United for Care for your support on Amendment 2. It's been overwhelming, and we need it because we need 60% of the vote come November 4th, which is a lot. Most of the other states who had medical marijuana only had to get a majority. They stuck it to us with 60%. I am here to answer any questions that you have about Amendment 2 specifically. Language or medical marijuana in general. I am a biological researcher. So if you have any questions about the plant, its effects, what it does, I'd be happy to answer those questions. I have materials. We are in the process of getting people to sign up for absentee ballots because that's the easiest way to get people to vote. If they can do it from home, they don't have to go anywhere. That's our strategy. So if you would like to take some of these with you, if you need to sign up for the absentee ballots, I can do that. Get your friends, family, neighbors to sign up for absentee ballot. That would be fantastic. I also have bumper stickers. If you want to proudly display your support for Yes On 2, I'll leave these, and you guys can take them and show your support for Yes On 2 because we do need it. We have the Florida Sheriff's Association breathing down our necks. So I don't think they're spouting lies. So I don't think that's gonna take them very far. But does anybody have any questions at all? Amendment 2 related, medical marijuana in general?
Could you explain, is there any way you could, I know it could be a big question, the difference between cannabinoids and the THC effects on cancer and things like that?
Are you talking CBD and THC?
THC, yeah.
You need THC and CBD together when it comes to cancer. They work together like a puzzle. Without one, the puzzle just doesn't work. THC, they have shown studies where THC is causing cancer cells to commit what they call apoptosis. Cancer cells are committing suicide, basically. So that's how that works. They haven't shown any effects on CBD directly related to cancer, but other than the fact that you need CBD with THC together. So the CBD by itself, the bill they just passed, is useless, to put it quite bluntly.
Also, a lot of people don't understand. Would you like to address that? What was just passed through the House is it actually
it's kind of a joke, actually.
Yeah.
The CBD bill that just got passed is for just CBD. It's very limited on the disorders, diseases that it can treat. You have to have been a master gardener in the state of Florida continuously for 30 years to grow. 5 medical marijuana centers in the entire state of Florida. I have a child myself who could use CBD medication. I'd have to drive Lord only knows how far to get him his medication. And the cost would be just astronomical. They've made it as difficult as they possibly could. They said, here you go, we passed medical marijuana, be happy. Well, we're saying no thank you, and we're gonna overrule you with Amendment 2. Because Amendment 2 is the whole plant. It gives you the benefits of the entire plant.
I think there's only 3 growers in Florida that could do it, and it's totally up to them. So if none of them do, then it's not available.
Then you know it's not available. Absolutely not. Yes.
I had heard that it is being prescribed right now in the state of Florida. Is that true?
There are people with special dispensation who have been able to get it, like Kathy Jordan. She is a federal medical marijuana patient. Her house was raided by the DEA, and she had to go to court. That was the only way that she was able to get the medicine prescribed to her, was because of her special situation. There are a few, literally few people in the state of Florida who have that special dispensation. Yes.
I don't know if you had heard this, but someone had told me that Governor Scott is buying up a whole bunch of land with an idea to get a current landowner that might get in on this deal to be a special grower for some of the stuff they're doing in Tallahassee? Have you heard anything?
I have not heard anything about that, but nothing would surprise me when it comes to Rick's money, so nothing. Yes.
There seems to be a lot of confusion on what Amendment 2 is and where we have to go from there. Could you maybe just go over what is in Amendment 2 and what we'll have to do following Amendment 2? Because the fight's not over after that.
No, it's not. Amendment 2 basically gives patients in the state of Florida and their doctors, mainly their doctors, the right to prescribe marijuana to patients who need it. I mean, that's basically it. You would need to get a prescription from a doctor. You would have to go to the health department. They would issue you a medical marijuana card. Same goes for caregivers. Caregivers would need a prescription for the person you're taking care of. They would need to go to the health department, get a identification card to be able to help that particular person. In some states, it's 2 prescriptions from 2 different doctors. You do not have the right to grow, unfortunately. That's where the fight continues after November 4th, because we do not have the right to grow. So pharmaceutical companies could come in and take over and make it very expensive. So in order to keep costs down and keep the medicine in our hands, we need the right to grow. Other states have it, why shouldn't we? But unfortunately, it was baby steps for us, and that's what we're fighting. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Could you address a few, because this is a senior issue as well, a few of the things that medical marijuana is used to treat?
Yes. Real quick, with Amendment 2, they have 6 months. The legislature has 6 months to implement Amendment 2 after it is passed. Otherwise, John Morgan will sue their pants off, basically. That's what he's promised to do. Not his exact words, but he has promised to sue them if they don't, take care to make this happen in a timely process. Some of the diseases are Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, Lou Gehrig's disease, which my father passed away from 3 years ago, glaucoma, cancer. CBD alone helps with Parkinson's. It helps with tremors. It helps with any kind of disorder that causes any kind of tremors, epilepsy. I'm drawing a blank, but that's, those are just multiple sclerosis, nerve pain, diabetic nerve pain. It helps immensely with diabetic nerve pain, neuropathy, just to name a few. Yeah.
What about nerve pain in general? I have a friend of mine that she was able to get medical marijuana years ago in California. And she could get more pain relief from a half a joint than from morphine.
Yes.
So I am very much in favor of it, knowing how she deals with pain on a daily basis.
Yeah, marijuana is a natural inflammatory. So it absolutely helps with any type of inflammation or nerve pain of any kind. I've had 4 back surgeries. I couldn't walk 2 years ago. Literally, could not walk. Now I run marathons. Thank you very much, medical marijuana. Seriously, so that's why I do this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm hanging around.
Now, to start off, I gotta tell you, I'm not a politician and I'm not politically correct.
That's a good thing.
So don't expect me to give you political whatever. Now, I'm supposed to give you a political speech tonight. But I hate political speeches. Because political speeches are actually designed to make you ask questions about whatever the candidate wants. So instead, let's do things a little differently. Let's just have a conversation. And since I'm the guest speaker, I'll go first. Right? And then you'll have time to chime in and ask me whatever you want. And I mean whatever. Right? Not just what I'm talking about. Any question you might have, feel free to ask. What we have is a government that's broken and out of control. We have people that are elected to office that are more concerned about lining their pockets from special interests rather than doing their job. It's time we change all that. We gotta change the word special interest back to we the people. And that's what it actually comes down to. People ask me all the time, what am I running on? What are my issues? What's my platform? Well, I have a lot of concerns. A lot of them are laid out in the flyer that I have. My main things are, first of all, our rights, because that affects everybody. My number one issue is property rights, because property rights are the cornerstone of liberty. Then we move on to jobs in the economy, because that's important to keep our society going. Education, and the preservation of our Second Amendment rights. But the bottom line is, it's not about my issues, it's about your issues. Most people up there have no idea what their job is. And their job is twofold. First part of their job, which is the most important, is to protect your rights. And that means the rights of all of ours. The second part is to bring your issues up there that are important to you, not what's important to them or the special interest. The only way we can set things right is to replace everybody that's in there right now with new people. Unfortunately, we don't have enough people running for every seat, but for the seats that we do have people running for that are not politicians, those are the ones that everybody needs to get behind, support, do what you can to help, because those are the ones that will stand up and make a difference. Right, so I'm not going to bore you with any more stuff. Most of the stuff, most of you have heard already. Right, now it's your turn to ask me whatever you want. Anybody have any questions?
Don't be shy.
No questions?
Tony, would you like to address that one
Most
more?
of the people that are in this room have heard me already. Most of them know me. All right, which is a good thing. You got a question? Great, go ahead.
Something
Go ahead, fire away.
Do you, what are your plans, when elected, what's your plans as far as legislation that you would like to introduce or battle against?
Well, my plans are not to introduce legislation. My plans are to repeal legislation.
Well, you have to introduce legislation, you have to introduce.
Well, you have to
repeal
introduce a bill to repeal a bill.
Right.
Right, but we have to repeal pretty much everything that's up there. If it's up to me, I'll introduce a bill to repeal everything back to 1968. The other thing I want to do is repeal, or actually get rid of, because these are not laws, these are regulations. We have our business community is hurting mainly because of all the regulations and fees that are put on it. All those regulations have to be eliminated, because most of them are just government control of what businesses are doing. It stifles the business from growing, it stifles them from making a profit. Yes, we do need some regulations, but we need some common sense regulations. And the big problem that we have with people in Tallahassee, they put a regulation on something and then they put a fee to go along with it. Right? They tell you they're going to reduce your taxes, so they reduce it $1, but then they put a fee on it that's $20. So instead you're actually paying more than you did before, right? Except your hands are tied. Right? So I'd love to be able to put in one bill that'll do everything. Unfortunately, that's not the way Tallahassee works. For those of you who don't know how Tallahassee works and how these bills are done, every session there's approximately 3,000 bills introduced. 10% of them right off the bat or approximately are feel-good bills. They recognize somebody for an award or pat somebody else on the back. They really mean nothing. So now we still have about 2,800 bills sitting there. Out of the 2,800 bills, there may be 20 bills that are actually good bills that need to be voted on. Unfortunately, out of that 20 bills that are left, there are approximately 6 that'll actually get voted on. And the rest are written and designed to fail. And I'm going to give you an example. For the past few years, those of you who have been following things, Jeff Brandes introduced a bill to repeal red light cameras. Right? Everybody thought it was a great bill. We got to get rid of the red light cameras. But it was a bill written to fail. The reason being, ATS, which is the supplier of red light cameras, contributed money to everybody else in the state senate with the stipulation that they vote against the bill. So therefore, he could not get any support behind it, nor did he have any teeth in the bill that would actually force the cities around the state to actually get rid of the cameras. Right? Just recently, right, the Liberty First Network just put out the legislative scorecard. And even AFP put out the legislative scorecard.
There's much for years.
Right? I suggest everybody look at those two scorecards. They're not too far off from each other. But you'll actually see how every one of your representatives, whether it be in the Senate or the legislature, was scored. I can tell you right now, my opponent got an F.
Huh.
Right? And pretty much all the other representatives that we have in Pinellas County got an F.
Wow.
Based on
Right? That means every bill,
Based on what? She had a legitimate
Right.
question.
based on what? The criteria for the two different scoring were different.
Who's scoring?
One was the Liberty First Network,
Who's making the score?
the Liberty First Network, and AFP, Americans for Prosperity. Both of them put out scorecards. It was based on liberty legislation or legislation that was meant to take away your rights. What people don't realize is, other than those 20 bills that I mentioned, every other bill that goes in there either limits or eliminates some of your rights. That's what they're designed to do. They're all designed just so that these people get big contributions from special interests. And they give back corporate welfare. That's what it comes down to. Each one of those two groups had different criteria for what bills were either sponsored, co-sponsored, voted on, whether they passed or not, and how each one of the representatives or the senators reacted to those particular bills. And they took basically 20 bills in question that were meant to be liberty type bills. In other words, if you actually read the bill, they'd be protecting your rights and not eliminating them. Right? I don't want people to take my word for it. I want people to go there and look and read it for themselves. It's the only way you're really going to understand it. They lay it out very clearly, right? It's done in short paragraphs so everybody can understand, right? But you'll get more of a picture hearing it, reading it, and then talking about it again. And it'll resonate as to what is actually going on. It does make a difference. And the only way we are going to save our country is actually one state at a time. So why not start with Florida?
Yeah. Tell 'em.